Hey yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Standard 81 podcast. My name is Sincere, and I'm back again with another episode and another video. Now, before we get started into this, let's go ahead and take a quick 30-second break, and then I'll be right back with you guys here in three. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for coming on this particular episode with me. Now, before I get started into anything else, first let me say this. I have made a conscious decision to scale down to 2 episodes per week, those being Monday and Wednesday. Seeing as how Friday has gotten kind of busy for me, and I'm also trying to socialize a bit more, get out a bit more, and I've also been working and doing other things amidst of also as well trying to enhance another platform and doing videos and content there. So I wanna leave my life open as much as possible between work and other responsibilities that I have to take care of, as well as getting on here on YouTube and giving you guys my opinions on different topics and the research that I have studied. Without any further ado, let's go ahead. If you haven't already, give me that that thumbs up, as well as go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. As I said, I'll do 2 to 3 videos per week, with the third video being a special feature or some kind of content that I've really been wanting to, an opinion piece that I really wanted to state and talk about. As well, on that note, let's get into this. This one I am going to entitle called Being the Villain. Being the Villain. Let me go ahead and read what I quickly jotted down here before I got onto this episode. Now, as I was last night, I was recently watching the movie Glass. Now, if you don't know who and what that is, it's basically about three real life superheroes here in the real world, and in this particular movie, they go under psychiatric evaluation to try to prove that they not what they are. But that's just a quick background on what the movie was and the premise of the movie. But that the relevant factor was this: Mr. Glass never realized that he was the villain until he figured it out for himself, and figured out there was the opposite of him out there. I believe in a lot of people's mind, it's the same. Though we don't have the superpowers, we don't realize often we're the villain of somebody else's picture, because either we are not told or we think we're the hero. Now, that's a mouthful to say. But I want to play 2 clips here that kind of prove my point. And they are from superhero movies, but I think these statements hold true. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these up. The first one here is from Batman. And yeah, if you're a Batman fan, you probably already know this clip, but let's go ahead and run it.
Race children in a city like this.
Well, I was raised here. I turned out okay.
Is Wayne Manor in the city limits?
The Palisades? Sure. You know, as our new DA, you might want to figure out Where your jurisdiction ends.
I'm talking about the kind of city that idolizes a masked vigilante.
Gotham City is proud of an ordinary citizen standing up for what's right.
Gotham needs heroes like you, elected officials, not a man who thinks he is above the law.
Exactly. Who appointed the Batman?
We did. All of us who stood by and let scum take control of our city.
But this is a democracy, Harvey.
When their enemies were at the gates, the Romans would suspend democracy and appoint one man to protect the city. And it wasn't considered an honor, it was considered a public service.
Harvey, the last man that they appointed to protect the Republic was named Caesar, and he never gave up his power.
Okay, fine. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Look, whoever the Batman is, he doesn't want to do this for the rest of his life. How could he?
Thank you. You don't have to.
So that, my friends, was clip 1. Let's go to clip 2 here. And I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to let this one run twice because it is a short. Here we go.
Heroes and villains always have the same backstory, pain. The difference is what they choose to do about it. Villain says, the world hurt me, I'll hurt it back. The hero says, the world hurt me, I'm not going to let it hurt anybody else. Heroes use pain, villains are used by it. Heroes and villains always have the same backstory, pain. The difference is what they choose to do about it. Villain says, the world hurt me, I'll hurt it back. The hero says, the world hurt me, I'm not going to let it hurt anybody else. Heroes use pain, villains are used by it.
All right, let's get out of here. So I have stopped sharing the screen. And let's get back into this here. Good Lord, man. My lighting is not very advantageous for the daytime, and I am trying to make it better. Also trying to get the camera situated. All right, I think that's pretty good. Let's see if the light can adjust to it. Still very dark, but does that look any better, you guys? Because I feel like the light may not be bright enough or something. Let's see if we can adjust the light. Give me a second. No. Guess that's it. I don't know why the light source, why it's not adjusting to the light source, but you know, it's on. Let me just check something here real quick. It's weird. Very weird. And it seems like the closer I put it to the light, the worse it is. Once it readjusts itself. Once it just looks darker. Well, that's a bit better. All right. Anyways, let me stop with this whole thing. I'm going to get my lighting. I think I'm going to get some better lighting because the lighting I got right now, or at least start blacking out the curtains in here, the shades in here, to try to get a more light-worthy setting. And that will probably help in the long run. But needless to say, let's continue this. Here's the thing. People's lives are full of pain. And we oftentimes want to be the person that comes along and helps them to overcome the pain and overcome that sorrow and overcome that, not knowing that either A, we have already been, we are not making it better, or B, we've already been painted as the villain in the scene, which is my second point, but I'm going to get into that a little later. Let's talk about A. Oftentimes, we go into people's lives saying, my thing is, I want to help uplift people. I want to help them get together, but we are hurting ourselves. So what winds up happening consequently is that as much as we want to do right by this person, we wind up doing wrong by them because we are not healed in and of ourselves. We are not in a state to where we can truly help anybody because we're hurt so bad. And am I saying that you never you're never going to hurt again? No, I'm never going to say that. As long as we live in these mortal bodies, we're going to continue to do bad things and stuff that is contrary. But I can say that without a shadow of a doubt, as you begin to grow in your mindset and as your mind begins to change, you begin to figure things out in life for yourself. You wind up wanting to do less things that are evil and more things that are good. But even good intentions can come with bad outcomes. I'll say that one more time. Even good intentions can come with bad outcomes. Because if a person is not ready for that particular outcome, what do you think you're going to get? What is it you think you're going to get? You're not going to get what you had hoped for. What you're going to wind up getting is something that is similar to what you had before. And if what you had before was hurt, pain, and trauma, that's typically what you're going to have in your life moving forward. Unless you decide to change your mindset and your circumstances. See, we often think as people, our opinion and what we say is right, without giving any credence or any recognizing other people's circumstances. Now, when it comes to the truth is the truth, irregardless. I don't care what anybody says, whether it hurts your feelings or not, the truth is just the truth. But we can take into account how we approach other people, how we deal with other people, and how we speak to other people. It doesn't mean that every time you speak to somebody, you need to have this soft tone or this calm demeanor, because sometimes it takes a more brutal approach. But what is the intent? What is your intent? Oftentimes, we put ourselves in corners to be the villain because while our intentions may be pure, the way we are coming off is nasty, evil. And you know, I am not a guy that is big into this whole, oh, you should play into your feeling, because feelings change all the time. They change like the wind, but we need to be careful in the way that we approach things. We need to be careful that we are not letting our past circumstances dictate our future actions or the way that we deal with people, which is oftentimes what we do as people. We let our past and actions and circumstances dictate the way we view people and the way we deal with people. And then we wonder why we become the villain in most people's lives instead of the hero we thought we were initially coming in. Now, on to point 2. We are often the villain of the scene with without even asking for the role. And this is where I hold the other person accountable. Because in the first point, I spoke about people's lives and how we approach people in general. But oftentimes, we can be put as the villain in the scene without even knowing we're in that role, because it's something they have experienced before. And now you are coming in as a new person, but the lens that they're looking at you through is that of their past, which is why at the end of that point, I started to veer into that. And you're automatically seen as the evil person because of their experience. And it doesn't matter how kind you say something, how much concern you show a person, whatever. They're always going to view you as the villain because of what has happened in the past. We see this oftentimes in relationships. We see that men and women alike, and I'm not going to sit there and hold you because I've done it. I've done this myself. We experience one or two people, and then we want to chalk everybody else up to that same premise, when that's not always right. Now, what you can do is take some of the experiences that you've gone through and say, okay, these are the signs that I need to look for when I'm engaging with this person in order to tell me to either A, move away, or B, tell me to move forward. But oftentimes we just put them in the same category as everybody else. And then by the time we realize that they're different, or this is a different circumstance, or this is a different person, it's often too late, because we have villainized them so much in our minds that we've either A, created the villain that we always dreaded, or B, the hero goes away. Because you can't, despite what a hero may want to do, if a person doesn't want to be saved, you can't save them. I don't care what Marvel and DC show you. Let's go by real life. Let's take example of a firefighter, right? Let's say a house is on fire, and the firefighter climbs up the ladder. He sees the person in the burning building, and he says, "Hey, grab my hand. I'm going to assist you out." If the person never grabs their hand, that firefighter then has two choices. He can A, put himself in harm's way and possibly lose the life of both him and the person that he's trying to save, or B, say, look, they're beyond saving. I gave them instructions that would save them, but they villainized me and decided to perish, which is exactly what Jesus did for us on the cross. Now, just to let y'all know, I am a Christian. I have never backed down in any one of my videos from saying that I am a Christian, and that is the faith that I follow. And for this particular scenario, I'm going to use this because Jesus was villainized for doing good. For doing good. He became the villain of the scene when he was there to do nothing but good. And it wasn't until after his crucifixion that some people started to recognize who he was. And I'm talking about outside of his disciples and his followers. I'm talking about the masses. Because the disciples and the followers recognized who he was and recognized the good that he was doing and recognized all the stuff that he was here to bring. But the vast majority of people didn't want to have anything to do with him. They rather villainize him and make him the bad person. And he said, I came here to save you. And even to today, he says, I'm here to save you. I've done my part. I've done my part, and I'm reaching out my hand to you every single day while you're here on this earth to make sure that you have everlasting life and eternal life with me, where there's no pain, no sorrow, and no regret. But yet we villainize him and we say, all you want us to do is be under your control, and you want us to do things your way, and we don't see it like that. But my question to you is, how long do you need to stay in a situation or in trouble or in drama or trauma before you start recognizing the hero in the scene as the hero? How many more bumps in the road are you going to have to hit before you start recognizing the people who God puts in front of you? Because they may not have your exact perspective on life, or they may not cater to your feelings every single time, or they may not do this, they may not do that, whatever the case may be. Because it doesn't satisfy and ultimately soothe your pain in the way that you would like it, you villainize them. That is a terrible way of thinking, and ultimately is going to lead to your demise. So, what am my third, and this is my third point. What do we need to do in order to get out of being the villain? Well, there's two things. One is we need to forgive, and the second is we need to heal. And in my opinion, neither one of those is possible without Jesus Christ. But for those of you that don't believe, I'm going to say this: you need to start engaging and finding out what it is that bothers you and explore that. Even I, as a Christian, have done therapy and counseling. You need to sit down with other people that know better than you. And then you need to not only forgive yourself, you need to forgive the people that have done you wrong. Because see, here it is. Forgiveness is not for the other person. And this principle can apply whether you're a believer or a non-believer. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. It's a way of letting go of the pain and saying, all right, it's a fresh start. Now, does forgiveness mean that all of a sudden you and the person who's done you wrong become best friends and everything is hunky-dory? No, not necessarily. Especially if what they've done to you is particularly atrocious and bad. You don't have to become best friends, but what you can do is let go of the pain and the hurt by saying, I forgive you, even though you hurt me bad, even though you are the villain in my scene. I am going to let this go, and I'm going to sweep the place clean so that I can be healed inside and I can move forward with my life and see the heroes that are around me. Just like that clip said, we all like to think we're heroes, but if you live long enough, soon enough, you become the villain in somebody's eyes, even if you're there to try to help. Because for a lot of us, we don't like to look beyond ourselves or our situations. We say to ourselves, I will forgive and I will heal once the situation changes. And that's the wrong way of thinking. Go ahead and heal and forgive in the midst of the situation so that you can be better and then you can change the situation. I know we've seen it before. People that move from one city or one state or one country to the other country, and then they get to that other place, that other destination, and for the first few months, maybe a year, everything is great. But then after a while, it becomes the same thing. That's because wherever you go, there you are. And if you didn't release what it was that internally was going with you, the change of environment is not going to help any. Because all you're going to do when you get to that new environment is replace one bad guy with the other. So instead of being in a metropolis where you have Lex Luthor to deal with, you go to Gotham City, and now you got the Joker. Of course, you can tell I'm a DC fan because my Marvel is not all that great. You know, and instead of being in Manhattan where you have to deal with Venom, you decide to go to Brooklyn and deal with, I don't know, the Hobgoblin. I forget who I think Miles Morales and Peter Parker have the same villains. But I'm not a Marvel. I'm pretty much DC. I'm not gonna sit there and hold you on that. And we gotta figure, you've gotta look at that. You've got to say to yourself, why does the situation seem to be the same? Why does the hurt seem to be the same? How come every time somebody wants to come along and ask me something, I get these, I have this reaction? Or how come every time somebody comes along, I act this way? Or how come every time I view things in a certain light? Because you're the villain. You're the villain. Mr. Glass, like I said, didn't recognize he was the villain until he ultimately figured it out for himself and realized that the opposite of him was out there. And at that point, at the point you figure out you're the villain in the scene, you have two choices, just like I put in that one clip, just like I played in that one clip. You can either deal with your pain and say, I'm not going to allow this pain to hurt other people. Or you can say, I'm going to hurt people because they hurt me. Those are the two choices you have. So, in conclusion, these are my closing thoughts. In order for us to get better, and in order for us to get out of this victim mentality and us being the villain all the time, we need to look beyond ourselves. And like I said before, I believe the best way to do that is through the blood of Jesus and having him come into your heart and forgive you of your sins. And this way you can learn his ways and the life that he has for you and ultimately be at peace. But if that's not the road you want to take, then you need to examine yourself and figure out what it is you're doing in order to put yourself in these situations. Ultimately, I believe it's going to bring you back to the creator of the universe, but that's just me. And I'll leave you with this. Are you the villain or are you the hero? And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you all once again. Like, give me that thumbs up. Share this with somebody who you think needs to hear it. I'd appreciate that 100%. As well as subscribe. if you like the content that I am putting out, that will help immensely. And leave a comment down below. Type in the comment second watch if you're watching this after it's gone live. And doing all this will definitely help this channel get out there and these videos get out there into the YouTube algorithm so that more people can see it and more people can grow. Everything else, as far as social media, TikTok, Instagram, that's all in my bio, in the link tree in my bio. You can click on all that and find out what I'm doing and how to get in touch with me that way. And I will see you guys on the next video. God bless you all. I'm out. Peace.